Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a new report raises questions regarding the safety of Phoenix's water supply. Also tonight, hear about a program that helps young people become first-generation college students. And we'll see how one veteran used writing to help him deal with PTSD. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Apple has constructed a massive solar power plant outside Florence that will sell power to SRP to offset electricity that Apple uses at its data center in Mesa. Details of the project had remained secret until this week. SRP says that it will pay a wholesale or market price for energy generated at the solar plant and that the deal will not negatively impact SRP customers. A new report shows that an average water sample in Phoenix has the highest level of chromium-6 among U.S. water utilities that serve more than 1 million customers. Chromium-6 is a chemical compound and suspected cancer-causing agent that was made famous in a movie about environmental activist Erin Brockovich. Here now to talk about chromium-6 in the Phoenix water supply is the city's Water Services Director, Catherine Sorensen, and Assistant Water Services Director, Troy Hayes. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Let's lay some groundwork here. What is chromium-6?
So chromium-6 is a naturally occurring element of the Earth's crust. And actually, according to the American Water Works Association, it's the 21st most common element. It's particularly common here in the Southwest, resulting from local volcanic formations here in the Earth.
The difference between chromium-6 and chromium.
Chromium-6 is just an oxidized form of chromium, and so there's chromium-3, chromium-6, there's other versions. It's just how it oxidizes as it gets exposed to oxygen.
And is there a difference as far as harmful effects to humans, or do we know?
Right, and so what the studies have is, I think they've identified that chromium-6 is on a list with the EPA, and as well as in the state of California, where they've tried to identify health effects associated with chromium-6. The state of California has then gone and identified a limit in which they will allow in their water systems of 10 parts per billion. Currently, the EPA regulates chrome as a whole, total chromium, at 100 parts per billion. And so it's starting to evolve and starting to move to maybe regulate chromium-6. They're trying to collect that data now, and that's some of what the data that came out today.
I was going to say, it's kind of interesting that you were talking about chromium-6 and everyone's worried about chromium-6, yet it's not really measured. It's just a part of chromium.
Right. So, and as Troy was saying, the EPA really only regulates total chromium as part of the Safe Drinking Water Act. They're looking at regulating chromium-6. And as part of that process, major utilities across the country monitor their systems to take a look at how much chromium-6 exists within our drinking water systems to provide those samples to the EPA so that scientists can really examine that data and then decide what steps to take next.
And Phoenix does monitor and test for chromium-6?
We do. And we took about 80 samples as part of the latest round of sampling for chromium-6. And while the average of those samples is close to what was reported by the Environmental Working Group, we really think that that's a gross misrepresentation of the amount of chromium-6 that's in our water supply.
Why?
Well, let me explain that. So we submitted 80 samples. About 36 of those samples came from water wells, from groundwater wells. But the City of Phoenix does not use those groundwater wells for the most part when delivering water to our customers. And it turns out that most of the chromium-6 that you're going to find is going to come from groundwater wells. Groundwater in the City of Phoenix water supply only makes up about 2% of our supplies. But the number that's used in the report, what they did is they took all 80 samples and just averaged them. 36 of those samples were from groundwater wells. So basically, that average is as if half of Phoenix's water supplies were made up of groundwater. That's just not the case. And it's not really a good representation of what's in our system.
So we've got groundwater, which seems to be heavier with the chromium-6 as opposed to surface water, which is mostly what the City of Phoenix uses for water. Correct?
Correct. As Catherine said, only 2% of our water supply is from groundwater, where 98% is from surface water. And so what we see is surface water has very, very low chromium content. And so when the two are introduced together, what we see in our system is numbers far, far lower than what they have. And so what we see is on an average is out in our distribution system. So that's the pipes that, that you would turn the tap on and you would pull water from. The average chromium level in those systems is around 0.39, 0.4, that kind of range. And in upper level, we only see a number of about 1.6 that we test out in our system. And so that's where we feel that the numbers are misrepresentative of what our customers actually see.
So when the report says that the average Phoenix water sample is the highest in the U.S. for customers over 100,000 or whatever the 1 million, whatever the situation was here, the highest in the U.S., 400 times the health goal set by California. It's California's, but it's still a goal to try, I would imagine, to achieve. You say not so fast?
We say that's just not an accurate representation of what gets delivered to our customers. Really, you need to take a look at the mix of supplies in a utility, what's actually delivered to the customer. And so if you look at the samples that are taken from our distribution system, those are going to be the most accurate representation of what the customer actually gets at the tap. And as Troy mentioned, those samples on average come in at less than 0.5 parts per billion. A very different number.
What about the idea of exposure to this water? Not necessarily tap water, but exposure. I mean, where does the ground, is it always 2% of all Phoenix water, or is it just tap water? How does that work?
And so normally on a normal year, 2% is about how much groundwater that we use. And so that may vary just slightly, but is normally what we see is surface water is the predominant source and where we pull that from. And so you're not going to see much variation from year to year because Phoenix is predominantly a surface water supply system.
All right, so is Phoenix drinking water safe?
Absolutely. Phoenix tap water is safe to drink, and people really need to be assured of that.
Can it be safer?
Certainly. It's always possible to do more. It's something that we have to weigh as a community, and we welcome these types of questions and this type of discourse because everyone has the same goal, and that's to protect public health and safety. There is more that can be done, and we look at that very carefully in our system, and we make sure that we are doing everything that we can with the latest technology, the best treatment techniques, but we also take a look at what's cost effective for our customers. There's always a very natural balance there, but we are careful to err on the side of caution and always make sure that our water is completely safe to drink.
So, should Phoenix residents use water purifiers?
That's a personal preference. What you'd say is our water is safe to drink, so I wouldn't be doing it for a safety reason. But if it's aesthetic reasons, if it's taste or other things that they don't like, that's one of the things that they can do. What you'd want to be careful about is some of the things that you may be trying to remove may not remove everything that you want it to remove, in a sense.
So basically you're wasting your money.
It could be, depending on what you're trying to remove. Obviously, the filters that you put underneath your sink or in your refrigerator remove certain types of things, but not others.
What about chromium-6?
GAC, which is what's in those canisters, is not removed with GAC.
So basically, if you want a water purifier to save you from chromium-6,
that's not
too bad.
Yeah, that's not going to do it.
Yeah, you were going to say something? Okay, well, answer me this then.
Okay.
We talk about efforts to improve the water supply. As far as chromium-6 is concerned, because the Erin Brockovich film, people are relatively familiar with this idea.
Oh,
That's a cancer-causing agent. You had a lot of clusters out there, stomach cancer in particular. What is Phoenix doing? You mentioned the effort's always there. What is Phoenix doing to lower this level?
Well, primarily blending. So for example, as Troy mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of chromium-6 in surface water, and we are predominantly a surface water system. So when we do pump our wells, we are very careful to pump them into major transmission mains so that that water is blended. Any chromium-6 that is in those wells would be very well blended with the surface water, which is very low in chromium. In fact, we ran some models on that, and we took a look at how much mixing occurs when we pump our wells into the major transmission systems that are full of surface water. And the modeling suggests that when we do that blending, the levels come in at about 0.5 parts per billion or less. Again, far less than California's maximum contaminant level of 10 parts per billion, and far less than what was reported by the recent report. So
basically blending or getting as little groundwater into the mix as possible is a form of cleanup?
Yeah. So essentially if you take it as, a dropper of chromium in a Olympic-sized swimming pool, essentially it dilutes the concentration down. The concentration would be less than that overall water supply. And so essentially that's what we're doing, is you're putting water that may have chromium-6 in it, you put it in a water supply that doesn't have any, and then overall that is diluted down.
And that is effective for us because some of the best technologies, ion exchange really is what you're looking at in this case, really are able to treat down to about 1 part per billion. So for us to achieve 0.5, that's really good.
All right. Well, it's very interesting to know that there's such a difference between groundwater and surface water when it comes to this particular element. That's
Yeah.
very good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Earn to Learn is a program at Arizona's 3 universities that helps students who manage to save $500 have those funds augmented with federal grant money and university scholarships. Here with more is Kate Hoffman, Executive Director of Earn to Learn. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Thank you for having me.
Give me a better definition of Earn to Learn. What exactly are we talking about here?
So Earn to Learn is, in my words, a financial capabilities scholarship program. It's really structured around the idea of the student investing in themselves. So the students who participate in Earn to Learn, they income qualify for the program, and they establish a savings account at one of our partner financial institutions. And in that savings account, they systematically save towards that savings goal, as you stated, was $500 per student per academic year. And then predicated on them successfully completing all of the program requirements, they receive $8 for every dollar they save in that account. So it's an 800% return on that college savings account. And we are getting tremendous feedback from the students and their families that are participating in this.
So find a way to save the $500 and you could wind up with $4,000.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
The money can be used for what? Tuition, books? What can it be used for? What should it not be used for?
Well, so the current federal funding supporting this project through the Department of Health and Human Services restricts the scholarship funds to be utilized for tuition, books, and fees, and I'm going to say this, other approved education-related expenses as stipulated by their guidelines. So the majority of the funds are being used for tuition, books, and fees.
So, okay, tuition, books, and fees. And these individual development accounts, these are what the kid puts into. Does it how much is there a minimum account, a minimum balance, or how does that work?
So the way that the program is set up is that we're out in the high schools and in the community colleges recruiting students who intend to go to one of our 3 state universities. Once we've identified those students who want to come forward, and the way that we do that is they complete a very quick online assessment that we refer to as the participant survey, and that's really the initial intake form. Once they successfully do the initial intake, then there's actually an interesting additional layer of investment involved in this project in the form of personal finance training. So we actually have personal finance training as a prerequisite that the students have to complete before they can even apply to the program. And so that's really their initial investment in the program. And then once they complete that step, then we invite them in and we walk them through all of the steps of the program when we start the process of income qualifying them, because this is really a needs-based scholarship.
I was going to say, federal poverty level somewhere, some low, how does that work?
So it's 200% of the federal poverty level and below,
Okay.
according to the federal guidelines, but a lot of times, like within the schools, it's students who qualify for free and reduced lunch that would be eligible for this.
Earned income tax credit involved as well?
they would automatically qualify for Earn to Learn if they qualify for
Okay.
EITC.
Interesting. All right. And now, is this high school students only?
No, we actually also have this project open to community college transfer students. So up at Northern Arizona University, we even had a student who was 55 years old who participated in Earn to Learn and recently graduated from NAU.
My goodness.
Which was really exciting because this person came back to school and Earn to Learn was the catalyst that brought them back.
How about GPA requirements?
There's not a merit overlay for the scholarship. They absolutely have to be able to be admissible to one of our 3 state universities, so it's based on their minimum eligibility criterion to get admitted to the university, but we don't have a merit overlay on the
Interesting.
scholarship.
So Arizona residents only, obviously, for the state schools. What about Dreamers?
So the project is currently available for students who qualify for in-state tuition and federal financial aid. So I have had that question before, but Dreamers at this time don't qualify for federal financial aid, so that would prevent them from being able to move forward with it as it currently stands.
All right. What if the kid, the student, whomever, the 55-year-old dude,
That's right.
can't save the needed $500?
So in order to qualify for the program, part of that income verification process is we actually go through, I'm going to say process again. We go through a process where we verify that they have earned income so that they are able to make that deposit in the account. And we have had very, very few students to date that have left the program because they were not able to save. The absolute vast majority of them, like 99% of them, have reached the savings goals.
And that is a lesson in and of itself, the idea of saving, putting into the account, watching other people put into the account and match as well. I mean, that's a lesson all by itself. All right, you mentioned most kids, most students get through this. What about the student that doesn't complete? Now, is this for one school year? How long does this go?
So that's a very good question. This program isn't just about access to the university, so it's not just about recruiting students, although that's a very critical piece of it. It's also about supporting them all the way through to graduation. And so predicated on continued successful pursuit of funding for the program itself, we intend to support them all the way through to graduation. So they have the option to renew their freshman year, their sophomore year, their junior year, and their senior year. And I'm really excited to share with you that this year, because we launched in January of 2013, this is the first year we actually have seniors on campus across the state. And so many of these students are indicating that they want to pursue STEM degrees and medical degrees, and so we have biomedical engineers. And
now, are these students
that incredible.
The first year they put in 500, it was matched, the second year they put in 500, or is it you put in 500 as a freshman, it's matched, off you go?
No, it's 500 per academic year
so it is
you
per academic.
participate,
Okay.
and then the 8-to-1 match carries forward with that. So it could potentially translate into up to $16,000 in scholarship funding. And it really goes a long way towards helping students offset the cost of getting the degree.
How long has this program been in effect?
So we launched in January of 2013. Our very first cohort was the fall of 2013, and those are the students that are now seniors on campus. We have over 1,000 students enrolled in this program in Arizona. And I just want to say this as a shout out to our 3 university partners. They are the first universities in the history of this country to apply for this particular federal funding source and create a scholarship program like Earn to Learn. And so this program has gotten a tremendous amount of national attention, and we've been contacted by multiple states interested in this project and how they could potentially implement this in their respective communities.
And for parents watching this, even students watching this, the idea at the bottom here is that there are a lot of ways to help pay for education out there. You just have to do some digging and find out about them.
That's right. That's right. And this is a really, to me, especially considering my background, I came from the financial services sector, and this model, this IDA model, just really resonated with me. And I feel like that investment on the part of the student, or that skin in the game on the part of the student, really is translating into them having greater buy-in to the process, right? And I think also it's increasing their confidence level significantly as they're trying to manage their own financial situation as they're going through school, right? And so
Right.
many of these students are first generation students,
Yes.
as you pointed out. And so they're the first person in their whole family to ever go to school. And this is just really helping them through.
All right, earn to learn?
Yes.
I keep wanting to call it learn to earn, but it's earn to
Earn
learn.
to learn,
Earn
earn
to
to
learn.
learn.
All right, well, congratulations on the program. Best of luck to you. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is something that veterans and members of the military now know to watch for. But during the Vietnam War era, veterans who struggled mentally with their combat experience did not have a lot of places to turn for help. Producer Elisa Adams and photojournalist Rob McJanet talked to a Vietnam vet who coped with his PTSD through writing.
It was another miserable hot day in the hell they called Dong Ha, Vietnam. I was hanging on the fence just below the razor wire with my head dropped in shame. The rock that I had just thrown at the POW missed, but the axe stung like a killer bee, like a time machine in a movie script. I remember pulling my M14 closer and assured myself the ammo clip was in place and at the ready.
It's the moments that Gary Clemens remembers.
The open wing windows blasted a heat wave when you drove fast enough, but the door jamb was too hot to rest your arm on.
It's the visual film that runs through his mind of his time in Vietnam.
Came right into the northern portion of Vietnam, right on the DMZ. It was pretty heavy fighting. I was just turned 19.
Clemens spent 13 months of his life in Vietnam, but those days crowd his memory, coming back to life in unexpected moments. He left Vietnam with an invisible scar.
The first time when I went to the VA and I said, I need some help, I'm not doing real well. And both clerks looked at me and, where? And I didn't get hit, but it's not right.
Clemens has PTSD, but when he first arrived home from Vietnam, there wasn't any help for veterans like him. Like so many veterans, he found ways to cope on his own. Some of his methods were destructive, others, practically salvation.
But I was able to hide behind the footlights, so to speak, and Kansas City I come. I found acceptance there on stage. I didn't have to talk about the war. I grew my hair long and did everything that a lot of veterans did.
He made a successful side career in music.
Later, I went with Johnny Western.
But after 3 failed marriages, he found himself at the Vietnam Wall in Washington, D.C., barely able to breathe. His 4th wife made him realize he couldn't escape those moments.
She said, you need help, and you need to get it now.
Clemens ended up at the VA hospital and started work figuring out how all those moments played out in the rest of his life.
Once the counselor started hearing some of my stories, he said, you need to write down these stories and just get them out.
So he did.
He lifted off with a blast of downdraft, had us ducking and holding our helmets. He hit the throttle with the authority of a man that knew his bird.
The moments turned into paragraphs.
Only his toy can produce the adrenaline it takes to command his spirit.
Then chapters.
If something was wrong, it would not take long for my presence to be challenged.
And eventually a book entitled War and Memories, Survival with a Measure of Success.
I would like veterans to read this book and say, at the last page, close it and say, now if he can do it, I can do it.
Clemens takes his message on the road. He and his service dog visit vet events. He does readings and gives away as many books as he can, because there's one thing he knows.
The memories of war do not really go away. They lay dormant for years, and they'll come back with a vengeance.
Clemens still writes, still plays music, and he's learned to ask for help. He's found his way through the memories.
It must have been the fading sound of choppers as they banked back towards the north. But the memories of those and other sounds have faded. The sound most assuredly in memory came from the agony of the wounded. Also were the shouted orders of the assembled team to get the wounded to the tents.
Gary Clemens has a number of book readings scheduled in the next few months. To find out more, check out his website, warandmemories.com. Wednesday on Arizona Horizon, see a door-to-door effort to get dropouts enrolled back in school. That's on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.